Greetings and happy Monday. Grateful that you can join me and give me some of your time and me give you some of mine. Really looking forward to this session. It is Monday, the 16th of March. Tomorrow is the cutoff date for my 444 for the immersion coming up next Saturday and Sunday. That'll be the last one that I'm teaching here at this facility. I will have others, but they'll probably be wrapped in like little mini retreats or private personal parties that you guys go ahead and schedule me for. Okay, this has been a great week. It has been a very full week of a lot of transition and movement, and there's just a lot right now. A lot of letting go, I would say. A lot of letting go of what you think is, right? And that's perfect because that's how it actually works, right? It works that way because we're in the waning aspect of the full moon, moving toward the blank void canvas of the new moon. So as we go, we're letting go. As we move toward that, we're letting go of the last little remnants of what we thought and felt and created that no longer works for us. And that's really what's happening. So a lot of us are in our emotional battlefield with ourselves, not wanting to feel because we haven't given ourselves the luxury, and it is a luxury, of beginning to create meaning around our feelings so that we can register them in a way that is conducive to us being at ease, because that's how we regulate our nervous system, is through our feelings. So the idea, if it's a highly charged feeling and it is something that feels like it not necessarily overtakes you, yet it will go ahead and compel you toward an action, that's an inspired energy. It also creates hormonal drops inside of your body. So your body responds to that thought or feeling. When you start to self-regulate, you can control the amount of hormonal drops that you have. Like you can dip into dopamine when you need to. You can be in serotonin. You can be in a lot of balance because you're allowing your nervous system to relax, and it's not sending signals that are panicked or filled with fear. The idea, a lot of people are doing breath work right now. Like right now I was running around, so I'm trying to still catch my breath. So hold on. So what I would do is what I would do would be I would just sit still. And that's what I'm doing a lot of. I'm just sitting still. I'm allowing the world around me to kind of be noticed, right? And as I let it be noticed, I kind of recognize things that send me that signal of ease and tranquility and peace. And then I think that word or those words to myself, and then I bring in the feeling of it, and then my vibration matches that, and that's what usually kind of starts showing up, is how I'm feeling. So the other day I didn't do a clearing before I went to bed, and I usually do a clearing before I go to bed. The reason I do the clearing before I go to bed is because I'm probably bound to take things to sleep with me that I'll wake up with, and I don't need to do that. I can be the sun, basically. I can rise and come over the horizon, have a whole day, and then I can sleep and let go and then have a brand new day. All right. It's not the same. And what I learned was that by doing that practice, my nervous system regulates itself because I'm not waking up with anxiety that I pulled in. And anxiety can be many different things. Because it has a feeling, it becomes sentient. And since it's sentient, that means that it's alive. So we've given it existence, and that's really what it is. It's existence. Giving yourself like the benefit of doubt and letting you be the authority in your life and making up whatever it is you think or feel it is, that's like the best medicine for you. Okay. So I wanted to kind of go over planets, their alignment, where we're at, because It's an impactful couple of weeks and days that are coming up, not like they haven't been. All right. And some of the things that I'm noticing are like the quiet talks behind the doors of what's to come. One of the quiet talks that is happening right now, conversations, one of the quiet conversations between the planets right now is Venus, Saturn, and Neptune all getting ready to start the wheel together. All right. They're going to start the wheel together. And on the 20th, let's see, which is a Friday, so that's a Venus day. That's when Mercury goes direct and will be direct in Pisces, but at 8 degrees. So as it goes direct, it still has to grow and will go into Aries in April, the 16th. There we are. Yes, the 16th. And then Uranus, the 27th, will move into, and this is April, will move into Gemini and then start its total cycle there. Right now it's finishing up in its considered least favorable position, meaning that physical aspects, because it's in the Taurus constellation. So Taurus's mantra is I have. So anything that you've been holding on to and not knowing what you wanted to do with it, or knowing what it looked like, or how to grow with it, or allow it to grow with you, is going to go away physically, all the physical aspects. And the idea is that whatever you have built from your heart that's lasting, you're going with it anyway. So it's going to be built. It'll be all right. And that seems like a lot, because for Taurus, holding on to things is the name of the game. I have this. That's mine. That's mine. That's mine. And most Taurus individuals that I know, their sun sign or placement are experiencing severe physical loss, from death to houses, businesses, cars, anything that's physical, that's large. And it's just kind of going away. It's very interesting because also the opposition, Scorpio, is experiencing similar. Unless Scorpio has placed themselves, they're cleaning up everything that isn't going to move forward with them. All right. And in that, they're noticing that the stability that they saw in their neighbor of Taurus is no longer the same, because now we've moved into Aquarius, which is the water bearer, and from Capricorn, which is the physical. Okay, now we've moved into consciousness, and we need to know how transient we truly are so that we move into the higher caliber of enjoyment that we're allowed to have, rather than the strife that's being created through fear of lack. Okay? Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot. But that's what we're navigating right now. We're navigating that, and we're doing a great job. We're doing a great job. Give yourself like a good job. Good job for being the person that you are. Thank you for showing up every day. Thank you for taking a breath with me. Thank you for joining consciousness. Thank you for being in the undercurrent of subconsciousness. All right. Thanks for being part of my experience. I'm happy to be a part of yours. So today, on this day, so the constellations according to the ephemeris today. All right. Ooh, Monday is Moon Day, by the way. And the moon is in Aquarius right now. Again. So now we're all in our heads. We're in our heads. Jupiter went direct on the 11th. Jupiter is in the constellation of Cancer. Cancer is about home and family, mostly family, like the makeup of it, community, your feelings, your provisional aspect to how you're going to support that sustainably. And so that's what that is. And so it's been retrograde, Jupiter, expansion, higher consciousness, how you feel about things in this way. How can you elevate it and make it more communal, more matriarchal rather than patriarchal, to where it has a concentric of the most the people who could get hurt the worst, right? The easiest, right? So you start there and you protect them first, and then you build community around it, and you do that, and that's more matriarchal and enfolding and supportive. Whereas a patriarchal society is more like a rung setup, hierarchical, and so like there's always somebody underneath somebody. So the idea is to build it to where like it's more circle, a concentric enfolding of humanity. And with Aquarius, the water bearer, okay, is actually the representation of consciousness for humanity. The two planets that are in charge of that, Mercury, communication, and Uranus. Uranus is all about distortion, destruction, and ripping the fucking Band-Aid off. All right? And that's what has been happening to anything that you have. I have has been Band-Aid ripped for about 8 years. So 8 years, if you wanted to clock it, you could look back and you could see any tangible aspects that you were living have transformed in many different ways. All right. And if they haven't changed, they are going away. Like if you haven't managed to grow within your experience, then they're going away, and you're the home. So when you know that you're the home, everything is transient and it becomes a little bit easier. All right. So because Aquarius, the constellation, is air, it's a masculine energy. All right. So it's thoughtful. It creates understanding. It is the cognitive aspect of how we think and interact in our energy. All right. We have the subconscious aspect, which is our perception and how we feel. Okay. That's the divine feminine. The divine feminine is about 85 to 90% of our experience. The divine masculine, conscious thought, all right, and reasoning, logic, assertion, things like that. Push energy, like the I'm going to, okay, not I will receive. The I will receive, because we really are more willing to receive than work. Okay. And so that's about 85%, which is your subconscious. So you might have a preference in the moment and discard that preference, and you'll move on to what is, and then you'll create something else. Yet it still resides in your subconscious. It's in existence because you gave it acknowledgement. You gave it acknowledgement through a preference or a desire of whatever the experience was that you were in. You may not have had it right in that moment, but it's working toward bringing that about for you. Maybe because it's all vibration. Okay. So you put a frequency in there that felt like that. And then you'll add another frequency. And because your system, your whole system, your mind, body, spirit system wants to be efficient, it categorizes things for you: frequency, vibration. So these frequencies feel like this vibration. These frequencies feel like this vibration, and so on. All right. So you're very intelligent. You're extremely intelligent. You're so intelligent. It's beyond what comprehensibly you could have in a moment, because you're bigger than that. You're everything. You're everything. You are everything. So there is not actually inert aspect. Everything has atomic quality. So because everything has atomic quality and it never rests, it's always in motion. Okay. So everything has a vibration. That vibration signals meaning, a feeling, and understanding, a thought. And we're constantly walking through life, basically, translating that frequency from a thought and frequency from a feeling into into an experience. All right. The experience is always right. We're asking from a place where we notice that the experience isn't there yet. So it's going to start out with a little bit of lack. And we'll kind of feel bad because like the experience we're in isn't that bad. It's not bad. We just want more. We want something. We want, oh, and maybe if we put parasols over here, and maybe if we put some flowers on the parasols, and maybe we went ahead and got balloons. We did this and we did bubbles, and then we did, because we begin the experience and we start to continue the creation during the experience. So it never looks the same as when we started and what we asked for, because we change. We're changing it constantly. The idea maybe could be to be more of accepting of where you're at, and then know that you're in choice and you're just choosing to see what this experience is going to bring you. We have outcomes that we would like. I want a car. All right. So now we're going to tell ourselves a story about how that car how we can receive that car. I have to go to work. I need a regular, steady paycheck because I have to make payments because blah, blah, whatever the story is. Now, because you have a story, you have a manual. Okay. You can read through the manual, and the manual is going to tell you which steps to take to get that story the way that you have described it. So now, you'll think, and then you'll feel into whether or not, oh, maybe I should get a job. Maybe I need more money. Maybe I should ask for more, because you're figuring out. That's effort. Okay. So that's thought. And you're talking to yourself about it. Claire, audience. That's why it sounds like you're voicing your head. Okay. And when you're reasoning between the two energetic bodies, okay, and you're including consciousness that you're already connected to and are, you have a wealth of information to draw from. If you're drawing from the information that is not bringing you what you want, you're going to keep getting what you're drawing from. So if you're trying to solve a problem and you keep going in and you're doing the same thing over and over again, hoping it'll change, that isn't how you do a pattern interrupt. And pattern interrupts are very important because you need to know what pattern it is you're using, because the information on the pattern that you find dissatisfactory has to change, not the pattern. The pattern's showing you how it operates. If it's a circle, it's going to keep being a circle. It's not going to stop being a circle because you break it. You can't break a pattern. A pattern is sacred. It's sacred geometry. It's the actions, methods, and animation of how energy creates cause and effect. And that's how they measure it, is through work or energy, a joule in science. And you always find what you're looking for because you already have a finite outcome. And it might land around that, but because you're aiming toward that, you'll gather evidence to make that so. Okay? Now, here's the biggest news flash in case you haven't heard. Every thought that you have is shared with someone. Someone's vibration is feeling that same interpretation in their mind. Somebody is feeling the same thing that you're feeling in a frequency, yet not the same way. Not the same way. They are not interpreting it as you, in your body, in your experience. Only you can do that, because you will define whether it is a good or bad feeling. You will define whether it was a good or bad choice. You will define that. Then you will tell yourself about that and assert to yourself how you should do X, Y, Z the next time. What we could practice in those moments and train our divine masculine to do is to be uber supportive, all right? And say things like, I'm really proud of you for the actions that you took. I'm really proud of you for making decisions when they're hard. I'm really proud of you for showing up physically as well as emotionally and mentally. And then all of a sudden you're in alignment with who you naturally are. That gives you the authority you're looking for externally. When you talk to yourself lovingly, and you tell yourself that you're doing a great job, it gives you agency to make further choices. Those choices can be more supportive to the next. And that's how you build your frequency and focus toward where you'd like to be. Okay? First, here, you have to tell yourself it's okay. Our greatest fear is the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown is about not knowing who you will be in this experience that has been put in front of you. So there's a lot of fear. It's like if you have fear about people liking you, you're going to be a little hesitant to go into that new experience. That resistance is, will they like me? Will they accept me? Will they abandon me? Okay? Is this forever? If you're an extremist and you're practicing only, never, always, then your language is going to limit you in your experience until you discard that language and add more perception. You're always going to use language. You're never going to do things wrong. You only show up for, see, it's very limiting, even when you try to make it open. So the idea is to choose things that feel really good and spacious. And you got to breathe into it and feel into it in order for it to really be effective for you. So, planets. So, with Jupiter going direct, that's going to be an even greater expansion because now it's a catapult of sustainability. Around July, it's going to feel like it's got some momentum. Okay? We're getting ready to hit 0 degrees on the 20th. All right? Of March. And when we hit 0 degrees Aries, that's going to start the Western aspect of astrology and the wheel. Okay. So there's lots of practices coming together. So many that are coming together in their own tradition and connection to the earth and stars. Right. And as they do, this puts intention and energy through thought and feeling into our conscious experience of existence. And because we exist, it is. None of it's right or wrong until we decide that's right or wrong. When we focus on things that we don't like, it brings more because that's the vibration we're practicing. It isn't about ignoring things that are not great. It's about really training your vibration to make it really awesome so that when you notice that, you can change that like that. Okay? Because you can. We can literally change things walking. As we're walking, we can change the world as we're walking. We have to focus where it is that we wish to be. Right now, 8 billion people are in the age of discovery. That's where we're at. We're in discovery. We're discovering all of the misinformation that we have been fed. We're coming to a new language that allows us to articulate our actual experience. We don't feel so far removed from what is possible. So there's many things that are on the table for us that haven't been on the table before because we realize that feelings are facts, just like thoughts are facts. They're ones that we create around the experience that we're in, and they do matter. All of it matters. And with that understanding and that meaning, we're moving forward. So first, discovery. We come into sensory awareness. How do we feel about all this? And then what actions would be generous to take toward one another and ourselves? Because there's billions of people that feel like we do right now. We're all feeling. So what can we do to support that? What would be an easier way? We'll begin to understand what feelings are. Feelings are emotions that are frequencies giving you information about what the experience is. And it's not just you, it's very entrained. So when we're inundated, when we're given like a lot of information, just a lot of information, and we're trying to process it, the reason it feels like it's so stuck is because there's inner world things that we've experienced that we're assigning it to. So we're holding on to it. And we don't have to. None of it belongs to us. It's generated from a machine, basically. So that machine is just trying to change the vibe. So, what vibe do you want? What vibe do you want? Because we're actually the signals. We're the signals. And how we feel changes the dynamic. Sorry, changes the dynamic of the operations that take place. So we're in charge in more ways than anybody's talking about. All right. We're using dollars right now and we're boycotting things. And that's really good. That's really good because that's the physical, sustainable aspect of how we do things in the forward, okay, in the future. The idea is to find out how you feel about it. But if you're doing it from a place of lack, then you're going to keep getting lack. So putting yourself in a really good vibrational situation, okay, feeling and thinking, knowing, like if you give yourself a knowing, it's all going to work out, it's going to be okay. I'm just going to keep plugging along. I'm not going to keep my head down. I'm going to make sure that I'm in recognition of what's going on. I'm going to change what I can, support where I am. I like people, so I think I'm going to side with humanity. That's me. It's up to you. I'm not making your choice, but I will choose you. Okay? So it's just all of us choosing. And as we choose, when we're overwhelmed, we'll have a tendency to go like this and not do anything. And that's exactly where that energy would like you, because you're very manipulatable in that space. You don't have to be. You can center yourself, allow yourself to move forward through the freedom of choice. All right. Find out what you're willing to accept and not accept. Align yourself to values that matter to you, and you'll find your community, because that's what we're doing. We're building communities. So life is changing. And as life changes, showing up for it is like, that's the e-ticket ride at Disneyland, basically. You have the best ticket. And if you keep showing up, it's going to get better. The story that you tell matters. If you're telling yourself, oh, this is so hard, I'm not going to ever, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're always right. Haven't you noticed that? Where whenever you pray, it always happens. Whenever you speak something, it happens. So you are the magician of your world. You're the creator. And you're co-creating with the energy around you, consciousness. And it takes form. Okay? So you're in charge. What story are you telling? How are you feeling about that story? So the story, male energy, clairaudience; thoughtful energy, claircognition; male, masculine energy, assertive, push energy. Okay? Perception, clairvoyance; feeling, clairsentience, 85%. Contemplative, belief oriented, intuitive; common sense energy, divine feminine. Okay. And all we need to do is to articulate to both energies that it's okay. It's all right if we want to make something happen. It's all right to allow something to come in, but we have to communicate with ourselves and take care of community for it to work in the way that it could to benefit. All right. Okay. So now I'm at 12:01. And so I'm getting ready to go. What I'd like to do is a little mini meditation. Okay. So if you're driving, probably not a great idea. But if you want to rewatch it, okay, you're more than welcome. And for me, I would like for anybody who has the luxury of just kind of sitting still to tune in to your body. And I mean, think and feel into your body. You may not be thinking or feeling anything of it, and it might be very empty, and that's perfect. It means that you're in a selection of vibration, and it's easy for you to pull in information that you'd like to feel. So maybe what you'd like to feel is gratitude. So you think about gratitude and you begin to feel that into your body and relax into gratitude. And you slow down, and then maybe You choose another word like ease. You think about what ease is and what it feels like, and you let it come in. And let's go ahead and involve like mind, body, spirit action. And let's take a nice deep breath in. Bring it down all the way to your toes. Let it swirl and release it. And imagine it clearing and transmuting into little white butterflies of unconditional love, source energy. Go ahead and draw in another breath. Ooh, there we go. Let that all swirl around and clear and clear. And breathe out, transforming into little white butterflies of unconditional love, source energy. Thinking about peace. Maybe putting your hand on your heart chakra and starting to feel peace in your heart. Feeling your nervous system relax. And imagining or pretending that your energy is sitting into your body. And as it sits deeper and deeper, you feel more connected to the earth. You feel like energetic tendrils are going down and you're really tethering to the earth. So it's going deeper and deeper and deeper. We're going to tie our roots into the earth. And we're going to drink in pure element from the earth. And we're going to bring it up in through the roots, the bottom of our feet, top of our feet, our ankles, shins and calves and knees, feeling more connected to the earth, more refreshed and rejuvenated in our elemental body, fire, wood, earth, water, metal, spirit, air, bringing it into our thighs and our hips, our stomach and our lower back, all of our back, our chest and solar plexus, our shoulders, down our arms to our fingertips and back up into our neck, our head. And then we're going to go ahead and stretch our arms out. Stretch your arms out. Let them go all the way high, high, high into the sky. Imagine them stretching high, high into the sky to where you touch the sun, the giver of light. And you allow that light to shine and wash over you and come into your crown chakra, filling you up until it's beaming light, your third eye, clearing away any psychic debris, and into your throat chakra, allowing honorable and loving expression, and into your heart chakra, replenishing, rejuvenating all your Christ consciousness and compassion, beaming into your solar plexus, that golden sun of I can, allowing that beautiful energy to fill you up until you're beaming light, highlighting your soul path and clearing it for you so that your purpose is revealed easily and effortlessly. Filling in, allowing, letting it come into your sacral chakra, co-creation and creation energy, and then into the root, the connection to your community, how you strive, how you thrive, how you connect. And then filling up your legs, going down into the roots and filling the earth with that beautiful, loving, vibrational light until you're creating a beautiful bubble of light, filling it with unconditional love, ease, comfort, connection, harmony, gratitude, peace, transmuting other energies into little white butterflies of unconditional love, source energy. Take a breath in, breathe out, say balance, balance, harmony. Good job. And then we'll ground. And I hope that you have a peaceful week. I love you very much. Thank you for joining me. Many, many blessings.